My name is Carson. Welcome to Thrifty Garage, a channel where we do everyday repairs, how-tos, and reviews. And in today's video, we'll be talking about the costs of a sewer line repair or replacement. In this video, we'll talk specifically about the repair I recently performed on my home and the costs incurred on that. My other video, I don't talk really in depth about the costs, more just talk about the actual work performed. So if you want a little bit of a backstory, be sure and check out that video. And without further ado, let's get into the costs of this repair. So obviously you're here to see how much a sewer line repair is going to cost. Right off the gate, I'm just going to give you that information. You're probably looking at between a $500 to $1,000 starting point if you hire a professional for a very minor repair, and you're going to be upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 on the high end. Most repairs are going to be probably in the couple $1,000, $2,000 to $4,000 price range. I would say maybe upwards of $6,000 is a pretty good amount to budget if you've got severe issues. In this case, we are backing up. We snaked the line, and within 3 days we backed up again. So again, pretty major issue here. Again, I go further into detail of what caused that issue in the other video. But if you have a severe backup like that, you can expect it to be probably a pretty big repair. In this case, for us, the repair was probably around $1,000, and I'll go into what those costs were. But that was a lot of that was self-performed, which brought the cost down. To hire a contractor to do this, you're probably looking at $2,000 to $4,000 for what we did. So the first step for us, we had a backup. Went to Home Depot and rented a snake and snaked the line. Luckily, we were able to clear the clog, but everything went down. I guess I should say first, we actually ran a hose with a pressure nozzle in there, which was free for us. You know, cost of water or whatever, a few gallons of water. Totally worth trying. Couldn't get pushed through. So that was our free solution. Moved up to the Home Depot option. $100 deposit on the equipment, 4-hour rental, rented it, ran it, and then returned it. And it ended up being about $85 for the 4-hour rental. They put a little bit extra on your card for the just in case. 3 days later, like I said, line backed up. So my plan originally all along was to get a camera guy out here to look at it. I wanted to see, I had suspicions of what was going on because I had seen signs in the front yard of this being a previous problem, but I wanted to get a camera in the line. I figured that was the best way to know for sure what was going on. I actually work with a local plumber for my landscaping business. I have him do all of our connections because he's touching the culinary side of things. I called him and said, hey, do you know anyone that has a snake? He gave me a referral, and it was a great referral. Called them up, and they said, yeah, we can do camera work. It's $150 an hour, 2-hour minimum, so we're looking at $300. And I said, hey, by the way, the line's backed up. Do I need to snake that, or do you want to do that? And he's like, yeah, we can snake it. Again, $75 an hour, 2-hour minimum. He's like, but since we're on site, it'll probably be only an hour for that. So they show up, try to snake the line, and they couldn't get the clog pushed through this time. They got hung up and couldn't get past it. And they're like, sorry, we can't snake it, or we can't camera it. So I mean, I was happy because that saved me some money. You know, $300 minimum. I only had to pay for the camera service, which I think it was 2 hours at the $75 an hour rate, plus another hour for a technician. It was like $35 an hour for that. Actually, it was $230 is how much the total bill was. So those are some good numbers that you might expect to see. You might hear somebody say, yeah, we're $75 an hour. That's going to be one man for an hour, 2-hour minimum. So you're looking at minimum of $150. If there's 2 guys there, you might be paying $150 times 2 for 2 guys. So just keep that in mind. Usually a lot of companies charge a little bit less for a technician, a little bit more for a supervisor or someone that has more experience. And then same with the camera rate. I don't know if they were going to charge me $150 an hour per guy for one guy, or have a lower rate tech rate. But just keep in mind of those costs. So $230 for that. So we're $85 for the Home Depot rental, $230 for that. We'll have to keep a tally up here on the side. Next cost. So once they did that, I just said, okay, I've got to reconnect the line. So in order to dig where the line was located, where the break was, it was in the right-of-way. So it was right adjacent to the street, and if it's in the right-of-way, I need to get a permit. So I obtained a permit from the city The permit for the sewer connection was $100, and the permit for the excavation was $100. So $200 to the city to pay for permitting, which is probably really low in most reasons. If you've ever got a permit, leave a comment down below how much your city charges, or your county or jurisdiction, what they charge. I know some places it's $500 for a permit, or $1,000 for a permit for a sewer connection, and it might even be $5,000 for a tap. So $200 for a permit. That just gives me permission to do the work via the city. So when I do that, I have to have an inspector out. No additional cost for that inspector, but there are certain rules and guidelines which I need to follow. So picked up parts, dug the hole, 6 foot deep hole, and had to reconnect the line. Had to get 4-inch Schedule 40 pipe, had to get fittings, a 45, a long elbow, inserter T going into an 8-inch line. Had to get a cast iron, clean out cover or cap, and all those things. Had to get a grounding rod. I think all in parts wise was probably between $150 or $250 to do that side of things. So what are we now? 85, 230 is 300, plus 200 for the permit is 500. Yeah, so the parts are probably around $200, $250 for all the parts to do this job. Had to dig down obviously to get the pipe. So I guess in this case it was probably sub $1,000 for total cost for the repair, everything involved. Again, relatively inexpensive thing. If you had to hire a contractor to come dig that out, someone with an excavator, plumbing company, you can expect those $75 to $100 an hour man-hour rates per man. Usually it's going to be a 2-man crew, and something like this, you're talking 4 to 6 hours. So 8 to 12 man hours at $100 an hour is $800 to $1,200 just for the labor, not to mention the cost of dispatching equipment, and then they're going to have their own material markup on top of that, and they're probably going to charge an extra amount of money beyond the city permit fee as well. So you could easily expect, in my case, this to have been $3,000 to $4,000 to hire a contractor out to come do that work. So one thing I really like to promote on the channel, being thrifty, and that's where, you know, this was something that I knew I could perform myself with a little bit of research. I could go to my local suppliers. Being in the landscape industry, I'm at a huge advantage. I know not everyone's able to think that way, but the big idea that I want to come across is that this is possible. This cost less than $1,000, and it could have cost $2,000 to $4,000. So we're talking half to a quarter the cost that it could have been, and that's a huge savings. I mean, that's several months payments on the mortgage. That's a big Christmas. That's a vacation. That's a whatever it is. That's a huge savings, or simply may not be. It's just money you don't have. Maybe you don't even have $1,000, but you certainly don't have the $4,000. So check out that other video if you've ever had an issue like this, or if you have something in life where you kind of just get boxed in and feel like you can't achieve it, and just think about, instead of saying I can't do that, what do I need to do to accomplish that? And in my case, I didn't know what the city required, so I asked around. I asked these different plumbing companies, hey, what's a permit fee cost? Hey, you know, what is this and that and the other, and just get as much information as you can. Call the city and say, hey, I have this issue, what can be done? Or, you know, in my case, I'm not a professional, and I wanted a professional to bring a camera and get a camera in that line so I could see what the necessary repair was going to be to enable the most swift and accurate repair to the line. You know, that $300, that $500 spent on that camera might very well saved a lot of time digging and prying and finding different problems and solutions, and just able to target directly into what the problem is. I feel like I'm rambling. Hopefully it all makes sense to you. Hopefully that's a good analysis of this particular situation, the costs involved, and just kind of how to overcome big obstacles in life and move forward and beyond. Anyways, thanks. Again, I'm rambling, I'm sorry. Thanks for watching this Thrifty Garage video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.